Hi guys, Mark here. Thank you so much for joining and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to what I think are Madonna's top 5 ballads. This is a continuation of my top 5 series. For everyone else, I've been doing a top 5 based across their whole discography, but with Madonna I think it's just too difficult given how varied and how long lasting her career has been to distill everything down into just 5 songs. So what I'm doing with Madonna is I'm going to have 3 subcategories. Today we're kicking off with ballads, we're then going to have bangers, and then to conclude the series there's going to be betweeners, which are songs that don't fit naturally in between either bangers or ballads. If you're enjoying my videos, please do subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and like and share the videos, and also comment below. Without further ado, I do have a disclaimer on this one, because even though I've extended it to arguably 15 songs across the series, I still wasn't able to reduce my top Madonna songs down to 5. I've got it to 6. I can't think of which one of these 6 I'm going to lose, so we're going with 6, and perhaps you could let me know which of the 6 you would lose in order to create a kind of top 5. So without further ado, let's kick off with number 6 on the list. I think we're gonna say it's a joint 5 with the next one, so that we do narrow it down to a top 5. But this is Oh Father, and this was included on her Something to Remember album, so back in the 90s. Let's check it out. I remember listening to this when I was a kid, when my mum used to play this album on repeat, and I think it's one of those songs that's really stuck with me. This introduction, which is very, very distinctive, and straight away you know what song is coming. And then as soon as the piano kicks in, the emotion is kind of palpable already. I think just how she's emoting from the very start of the song, and then the chorus crashes in. I think the thing that's really surprising about this song, even at this point, is the texture within her voice. It can be very airy and light, but then it can be very kind of deep, lovely vibrato on it as well, actually, when she goes kind of low and she's doing the long notes. Her voice on this is much deeper than anything that she's done kind of recently. Working towards the middle A, I just remember it so well as what, you know, when I was a child. And lyrically, obviously this is pretty dark and deep, and I think it's well catalogued, kind of Madonna's relationship with her father, but this is a very overt expression of those feelings. It showed that she was a real vocalist as well as a performer. And just at the end, when it becomes kind of this really sweeping thing, and the emotion is kind of pouring out of her, you've got the choir in the background that's really elevating it. I just think this is such a kind of powerful but beautiful song. And there's a real feel that she was just in the studio letting it out, and this is how the vocals came. It wasn't calculated, it wasn't methodical, it was just a kind of pure instinctive thing on her part. Number 5 is a much more recent track. Actually, it's on her most recent album, and it was the closing track to Madam X. From the very first moment that I heard this particular song, it got me straight away in terms of the empowerment message, and it's not really let up with me since then. It's definitely been on repeat. So at number 5 is I Rise. Just hold on to the little bit of magic in it. That melody, there's something about it that just got me straight away. I've died 1,000 times, I've managed to survive. She's still here. And the feel that I get from this song is that there's such focus on her part. She really means what she's saying. And it's not saying to people, you know, F you, I'm here. It's a real empowerment thing. This is all about me. I'd actually really love to see an acoustic version of this song with everything stripped off, because I think the melody's so good on its own that it would really stand up. And then as soon as the backing vocals come in, you've got a real sense of the song is literally rising before you. It's a really great middle eight as well. It's a kind of global message. It's saying humanity needs to rise up above. I thought it was a really great track to finish the album with. And the production actually I think is really exceptional on it. I don't know who the producer was actually, I'd be really interested to know. At number 4 is a track that I think if it featured on a different album, it would have been way more successful than it was. But the album it featured on was Ray of Light, and there were a couple of singles that preceded it, and so I think it was perhaps overshadowed by them. But in of itself is an amazing song. The video is really powerful and beautiful actually. She looks stunning in it. And at number 4 is The Power of Goodbye. I mean, just as a lyric in of itself, it's pretty brutal. But there is a lot of truth to it, and as she says in the song, there's no greater power than the power of goodbye, and walking away from something and knowing that you can. So at number 4, The Power of Goodbye. It's so brooding from the moment it starts, and the electronica starts coming through right at the beginning, and then that builds and develops, and it's something that really develops throughout the whole song actually. I think you know what's coming when she says the spell has been broken. You know, that's when you know that it's time to move on. What the vocal is amazing. I think this is one of those really classic and iconic songs that would still be successful even if it was released today. And everyone can empathise with it. Everyone's been in that situation. What I really love in this song actually, it's just come back to me, is how the chorus changes from the first to the second to the third. To lose. So the first chorus is there's nothing left to try, and then in the third chorus it has both of them, and I really like how that mixes it up. It keeps the interest of the listener. It's very subtle. The instrumentation here, and actually her voice, which starts elevating with the instrumentation. I think this is one of the kind of really pivotal moments, this album, for her vocally in her whole career. The strings here, which are just amazing, and you get the feel that it's moving towards this crescendo where she's going to make the decision to say, I'm going. There's no greater power than the power of goodbye. And I love how it brings it back to just the guitar at the end, which just goes to kind of underlie how strong the melody of the song is, full stop. Okay, so we're going to go on to track number 3 now on my list. And this again is a much more recent song. It's on her penultimate album, so Rebel Heart, which actually I really, really enjoyed from start to finish. And I've listened to consistently since it was released, unlike the couple before that I wasn't such a big fan of. And I think this is a track that she did with Avicii. She did a couple of tracks with Avicii, but there were a couple that were more dance focused. But this one is definitely in ballad territory. Heartbreak City is at number 3, and I think the tone of this one is completely different to a lot of the other ballads that she's done, because in this one she is pissed. This is an angry ballad and she's letting it out, and the others are more contemplative or reflective or just sad, whereas this one is an angry ballad, and you can tell from the very beginning of the song that she is pissed and she's going to let it all out during the course of the song. And I think that's why I really love it, because the vocal delivery is so fierce and fearless. So let's get into it. Piano intro is lovely. I mean, I love a piano ballad, and the melody of this is brilliant. Cut me down a little. That's when you know she means business. Cut me up a little. From word go, and that this is in the aftermath. And actually the vocal delivery here is much more in line with the type of vocal delivery that she had on the Something to Remember album compared to modern vocal delivery. This bridge and the way in which it builds, and you've got the backing vocals as well and the percussion going with it, and you're thinking this chorus better be something good, and then it is. I think it's one of those melodies that's really simple but it's so catchy. That line actually with the backing vocals is really brutal. Your clever game got the best of me, but you're not going to get the rest of me. I mean, that's how pissed she is. She curses the day that she met him or her. You had a few secrets I was never told. You get the real feel from it as well, that this is like about a personal experience. This is someone that she dated, while obviously she was at a stage where she was very, very successful and was in the public eye, and someone took advantage of her, and she's saying, I'm not gonna let this slide, I'm calling you out on that. But you ain't gonna get the rest of me. Now I'm in Heartbreak City. Yeah, I mean, I know it's one of the more modern ones, and some people might say I'm a bit of a kind of basic bitch for picking a more modern one or two more modern ones in quick succession compared to some of the other songs that are on Something to Remember, for instance. But, you know, you can't pick the songs that resonate with you and those that don't. And yeah, these are the ones that have really kind of captured me and that I've sung along with when I am feeling in a particular way and I need to let it out. Okay, so for number 2, and it was a really, really close call between 1 and 2 for me. So number 2 is another kind of track from the 90s from Something to Remember, and this is a song that's been covered more recently, but for me is just one of the iconic Madonna ballads, and her vocal delivery in it is incredible. So number 2 is You'll See. That guitar at the beginning with the kind of brooding background, and then the vocal comes in and it's so controlled. It's a bit like it's so controlled, it's someone that's on the edge. And then it starts to build. You've got the kind of half chorus at the beginning. I don't know whether Madonna wrote this song or not. That's one thing I've not looked at before, but she certainly sings it as if this is a song that she has written and it's about something that she's gone through herself. Then you've got the build up to the chorus and it just lets loose. I know I'll survive, I know I'll stay alive. I don't need anyone this time, it will be mine, no one can take it from me. And then when this kicks in, it's very conversational, it's as if she's telling you that's how she's feeling and you're the perpetrator. I think it's one of those things where some people say that Madonna is not a vocalist, and then you listen to a song like this and you say, how on earth is this woman not a vocalist when she delivers a song like this in this way? I think the thing that I like as well about this song is it's got a really long outro, and it kind of takes it from the really elevated chorus, and then this is like the aftermath. Once, you know, she's vented, she's let out how she feels, and then she's kind of contemplating afterwards. It's like there's been this big row, she's told the other person exactly how she feels, and now she's kind of stepped back afterwards and she's kind of like composing herself and thinking about what's just happened. Okay, so number 1 on Madonna's top 5/6 ballads. This is my favourite Madonna song, and it has been ever since I heard it, and I think everything about it, the lyrics, the production, I think it's M.R.POP that produced the track, the video and the look of the video, all of it just kind of ticks every single box for me. Yeah, I just think it's pop perfection actually, because it conveys so much emotion, it's so well produced, it sounds so good, and it's completely timeless. And I think probably when they asked her to do a Bond theme, they wanted it to sound like this song rather than Die Another Day. But you can't get what you want all the time, can you? So at number 1 for me on my top Madonna ballads is Frozen from Ray of Light. Just within those few bars, it already kind of elicits this emotion in me. Even now, I mean, it must be 20, 25 years old now. And it's that beat, as soon as it kicks in, it's so distinctive. You know what's coming. And it's off a time, because obviously William Orbit was producing lots of stuff at the time. He did Madonna's album, he did All Saints at the time. But this is the absolute high watermark. You waste your time with hate and regret. You're broken. And also, again, it shows the texture within her voice because it goes very high and then quite deep within short order. And you've got the kind of like from her, which are so distinctive and so kind of idiosyncratic of her style. No one else does like Madonna. And then you've got the kind of very William Orbit-esque production. Love is a bird, she needs to fly. Let all the hurt inside of you die. You're frozen when your heart's not open. And the video where she's on the beach and her, she's wearing all black, her hair's black. There's, I think it's a crow that flies across the beach, or a raven. There's the dog that's running towards you that looks like a horse. And this bit, production-wise, is exceptional. And this is what I meant when I was talking about the Bond theme. I mean, the strings and the way in which this builds. I think as well what I really love about the song is that the melody is so strong that the vocal delivery is very clean. It's not fussy, it's straightforward, but something so straightforward and simple can convey so much. I think just thinking about it, I think it's the contrast between how intricate the production is and how straightforward but super emotive the vocal is. If I could melt your heart. And just the outro again, it's so beautiful. It kind of takes you out slowly. Otherwise, I think you'd be an emotional wreck. Okay, guys. So, guys, that was my top 5/6 Madonna ballads. Do you agree with my list? Or would you have picked other songs? For instance, I definitely, on the borderline, was Love Don't Live Here Anymore. And yeah, that one has been a favourite, but it didn't get on the list. If you've enjoyed my videos, please do subscribe. As I said, I'm going to be doing 2 more Madonna reaction videos, one for Between Us and one for Bangers. So if you have any suggestions for the songs I should put on those lists, then please comment below. Other than that, that's me for today on this video. So hope that you're all doing really well, and I will see you on my next video reaction.